the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Well, the question for us today, at this moment, would be, what would be the purpose for us to be here today at Mass in church? Well, this is one of the more joyous feasts of the Catholic Church, and she wants us to be present at Mass as she offers the sacrifice of the Mass to God for having received in heaven so many of our brothers and sisters who are now saints. And she presents them to us so that we may venerate them, admire them, and then make them our models for present life. Now, the second question would be, what is it that they did in order for them to accomplish their glory in heaven? Well, the Gospel reveals clearly the kind of life they led when they were among us. Blessed are the poor in spirit, the meek, the merciful, those who suffer persecution, poverty, humility. See, these are the characteristics of the lives they led when they were among us. So if we can ask any of the saints who are now in heaven, what do you do? How much you had to pay in order for you to go to heaven? And they would have to say, we gave everything. We paid with our whole lives what we now possess. And the question is that we are not in this world for any other purpose than to accomplish holiness of life. There is nothing else that we have to do. Saint. Now we want to become saints. Other people might say, well, that's not for me. It would cost too much. But we want to be saints in the easiest way possible, without making any effort, without fatigue or violence to ourselves. See? Because if the will of God for us is that we go to heaven, become saints and go to heaven, if that's His will, He gives us the ability to do it. We don't do it simply because we don't want to. Now, the saints didn't do anything out of the ordinary. They had the same kind of problems, the same kind of health problems, the same difficulties, the same temptations. They went through the same hardships in this world as we do. The only difference between them and the rest of us is that they did everything for the love of God, meaning perfectly. See? So, when the church or God, or the commandments, or our daily situations demand too much from us, then very often we refuse to follow God's will, thinking that we don't need to go to such extents. See? So, if we want a very specific way for us to go to heaven, it is only a matter of knowing what is God's will for us, accomplishing God's will, being faithful in small matters, and really having a deep desire to go to heaven. Nothing in life can be understood if we don't want to go to heaven. Life itself becomes unbearable if we don't have the desire to go to heaven. Once we have that desire, everything falls in its place. See? So today the church says to us, look at them, look at these children of mine. Simple people, ordinary people that, they realized, some of them at an early age, some of them when they were old, they realized that the destiny was heaven, nothing else. Nothing else. So we are not in this world to accomplish anything else other than salvation of our souls and our sanctification. So, two things for us to keep always in mind. The first one would be, what is God's will for me every day? If you are expecting in your life to accomplish something great out of the ordinary, you know that that is not going to happen. See? God is not expecting you to save the life of anybody else or to, give your body to be burned at the stake. No. Those little things that you have to do every day, doing them with love, for the love of God, that's all you need to do. Nothing else. When we do things this way, every little thing becomes great in the eyes of God. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we have every help, every aid from God's grace for us to go to heaven. We have the sacraments, we have the faith. See? The only thing we need to do is to want to become saints. And the last thing is certainly prayer. Prayer is, for our souls, that it's life. We don't pray, we don't have God's grace, we don't have God's help. See? So the accomplishment of God's will that manifests itself in the commandments, the precepts of the church, and the duties of our static life, doing everything well,